Mm-hmm. So as we were going with our conversations, yeah, you good. As we were going our conversations, she was starting to notice that most of the time, not most, when I would tell her that it was there, she'd look and see what's there. Give your point of view on that, baby, if you like.
Well, on the time we were discussing the
Yeah,
Bible.
and Bible and everything up to a certain point.
Yeah, we would just have spiritual conversations. We would have normal, natural conversations about life and spiritual things, money in some cases, how we how we interact with one another. Those are normal things for me that a man should be concerned with the beginning of a relationship or just coming into a relationship, not other things that
most people think about today.
Right. But those are the things that drew me to him, that attracted me to him, because I too was considered myself to be a spiritual woman, and I wanted a man who was attuned with knowing with knowledge of the word, first of all and most of all, and spiritually balanced. But yeah, we had our debates, and that was because he knew a lot more about the Bible than I did. Not that I didn't study, I did, but he knew a lot more about the Bible with the law and commandments, because as Christians, they don't teach us a whole lot about law and commandments, and so when he began to ask me questions, that's where I was getting stuck. The other thing else, we didn't have a problem, but I would get stuck. But the word is the word, and I don't dispute the word if it's right there. I mean, you can't dispute it. But that was the thing that drew us together. That we were, he was honorable, and I was honorable. I am honorable. He's honorable, and so that drew us together.
And I would say, you the one.
Oh man!
I said you the one. What you would say, baby?
No, I'm not. Now you know.
I said, you the one. And then she'll tell people that. What you tell them, baby?
I was running and he wasn't chasing me. Because I had just come into my understanding of being single. So I was really enjoying a single life. Not that I was running around with everybody, but I embraced being single. And that was after wanting to be with someone for so long. I embraced being single. So it was, that was just clear, totally out of my head before he came. And so when he finally did come, that's when I'm like, no, I don't know. How you know I'm the one? You say that, oh, I know you're the one. I know you're the one. So, then after a while, I had to come to my senses and just, praying about some things and talking to the Father about, about this relationship, who he was, who he is, and those are the things that's the reason why we're together. I take no credit. He takes no credit, and Father does.
Father brought us together, put us together.
Exactly.
And
hi, nephew, I love you. Yeah. So the Father takes credit for all of that. We give him the credit, and I love this man. He's a great guy. I just love him. He's wonderful. He takes care of me. He makes sure that I'm okay, and I'm good with that.
Same here. She take care of me as well. So, and just to share with y'all, it's a lot of people. Me and not a few, but I just wanted to share with y'all. Search the scriptures. Search the scripture and see what is a marriage. I always share a marriage is when two people come together, as it says, as the Father gave, when a man, not when a man finds a wife, finds a good thing, but that's in scripture. But when he said that when a man and woman, they shall cleave together, this is scripture. When you cleave unto your wife, that means y'all two, when y'all come together, y'all stick together. That's a wife. That's a wife. When y'all come there, the only time you find scripture when it comes to paperwork, you'll find it in two places on two different occasions. One is when Moses spoke in Deuteronomy chapter 24 and said she should have a bill of divorcement. That's a bill showing that he has written her off, and she can show with proof that they're not together anymore. That's proof by handwritten signature that him and her not together. Because mostly in the community, everybody know each other. By everybody in the community knowing each other, they know that, like, everybody know, if you see Joanne, y'all know that she's my wife. Everybody know that she's hands off. Everybody knows she's hands, and the ones that don't know, they be like, man, that's Mikael's wife over there. You know, she's spoken for. That's how. And this is how come we out of pocket right now. But the only other spot that I can remember when it speaks of on that particular point of paperwork that I know of, if you go to Exodus chapter 21, verse 1 through 6, I believe, when it says that when a free man becomes a laborer, might as well say, a slave, however you want to put it, a laborer for somebody for 6 years, and then if he come in alone, he leaves alone. Whether if the laborer, the man that got him a wife or whatever, the women and children still belong. And I look at that as the system. The system is the one that owns the women today, that gives it to the man, which is if a man stand on his own, which men are protectors. So we're supposed to protect our own. But if the system gives a woman to a man, and then at the end of the 6 years, I believe it is, what you about to say, baby?
Explain when you say the system, so that they can have a
I'm glad you said
understanding
that.
Because
I'm gonna give y'all that real quick.
The system is, and that is as in legal, the legality of marriage.
Exactly.
The wedding part where you stand before each other, well, and a person who represents, which is probably a judge or a pastor, who is part of that system. Right. And they legally give that woman to you.
So they can see you up there, baby. Make sure they can see your pretty face right there. I know. This one right here is kind of small. Okay. But I'm going to give you Exodus chapter 21. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. Put that right there so y'all can kind of see that. Yeah, Exodus chapter 21, the first 6 verses. It says, now, these are the judgments. Oh, make sure. Exodus 21. Now, these are the judgments which thou shalt set before them. If thou buy a Hebrew servant, if thou buy a Hebrew servant, 6 years he shall serve, and in the 7th he shall go out free for nothing. Now, what he's saying buy here, if you think about it, when you are paying a servant, an employee, anybody in that status, you're buying them for their services. That means you're paying them for their services. By you're paying them for their services, they're working for you for a service. Now, I'm saying the system, because the system is the one that does this by having employees. The system is the corporation. The corporation is the slave master today. The Pope, the Vatican, the United States, which is the armed forces, is their backup, and the Queen of England, which is the overall holder, might well say, to the contracts of the birth certificate and Social Security card. Church and state. Church is the Vatican, state is Queen of England. There we go. In short. But, verse 3. If he came in by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he were married, then his wife shall go out with him. That means that if he came in married and he goes into the system and work, him and the system go out. Him and his wife go out after 6 years. But verse 4, and say, if his master have given him a wife, if the system gives you a wife, when you go and bow, when you bow to these women, you bow into the system, whether you understand it or not. When you get on one knee and grab that woman's hand and ask her to be your wife, you're bowing to this system that is over her like her father. That is actually, he has the when she look at the taxes, the alimony, and everything else that's pertaining to the woman. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving y'all a better understanding on this point. If his master have, verse 4, if his master have given him a wife, and she have borne him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her masters, and he shall go out by himself. How many people are getting divorced, and mainly all the stuff they mainly made has to go back to them because of the system, which now we come to find out is really illegal. Especially when you get indexed, you come to find all that information out. All this stuff the system doing against the man is really illegal, but men don't know their laws, their right, or the information. So you can't do what you don't know. And if you understand you can't do what you don't know, a lot of y'all are living in an era of thinking you're living right, not understanding. Verse 5. And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free. What is that saying? He's saying that if the servant, if the person that was being employed or that's a part of this system shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free. Verse 6. Then his master shall bring him unto the judges. He shall also bring him to the door, or unto the doorpost, and his master shall bore his ear through with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. Now, to me, I'm not adding to the scripture, but I have a revelation, I have a revealing of the scriptures. Deuteronomy 29:29. I understand what the scriptures are saying. Right here, it says, then his master shall bring him unto the judges. That means you going to the courts. You're going to the city. They take you to the courts, to the judges of the city or of that time. And it says, he shall also bring him to the door. He shall also bring him to the door or unto the doorpost, and his master shall bore his ear through with an awl. Now, in this day and time, we would say that awl is the pen and paper, which is the marriage license. The marriage license keep you in bondage with this system. Oop, there we go. The marriage license keep you in bondage with this system. And this is a satanic system, which the Father's kingdom is building out of this, from this system at this point in time. We got two parallel systems happening right now. You have the satanic system, and you also have the Father's kingdom that's building in this day and time, that's coming down from heaven. Let it be done on earth as it is in heaven. So, verse 6, as it says, it's 1 through 6. Then his master shall bring him unto the judges. He shall also bring him unto the door, or unto the doorpost, and his master shall bore his ear through with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. That's the only other place that I can see, which would be according to paperwork,
the marriage.
Of marriage. Well, that marriage is for that man connected to the system forever. The first one, as I was just sharing with you, is Deuteronomy chapter 28. I'm sorry, I apologize. Deuteronomy chapter 24, the first 5 verses. And when you get a divorce from that woman, you ain't supposed to go back to her, because the land or that woman is be greatly defiled. You already been with her, y'all didn't work out, leave it alone, keep it pushing. Y'all probably can be friends or what have you, but y'all done. So I just wanted to share that with y'all to let y'all understand when it comes to marriage.
I want to say nothing against anybody that's married. That
Call yourself being married in this day, yeah.
That stood before pastor, priest, judge, whatever, and got married. Nothing, because some of these marriages last a long time, and they are married, and they choose to be married. But where does it state that you have to have a a judge or a pastor or anyone that is liable or a priest to marry you? Why do you need to be in a position where you have to pay this money, get your blood test or your license and go pay this money and then have this big elaborate thing and this, that, and the other, and you put some rings on your finger and then you'll say that it's marriage. No, that's a ceremony. That's a ceremony.
Yes, it is.
So when you have a ceremony, ceremonies don't mean that you're married. Ceremony is the thing that you gather your family and say, this is what I chose to be with him, and this is what that is. If I choose not to have a pastor or anyone stand before me and say that I'm married and put it on paper just makes it legal. That's all it does.
According to the system.
And it's legal. That's when it becomes a business. It's legal. It's legal for the man to, if something should happen to him, you can't this and you can't that. Well, you don't have to get married to make that legal.
Right. One moment. One moment.